All of these are real-life garbage sentences uttered by real-life garbage people in response to my protestations about some dubious piece of the action we were getting. Sometimes these people were also actual rapists, because straight up, anyone who disregards your not wanting to have sex or coerces you into it after you say no fits this description. Though these phrases were deployed in different scenarios or for ostensibly different reasons, each one means, I don't care what you want, even though you just directly told me that it isn't what is happening, and I don't respect you as a person more than I do my own horniness in this one moment. To operate under that mindset when someone has trusted you with the privilege of feeling all up on them is wholly unacceptable, and not only because you're trying to make that person feel bad for your own repugnant behavior. Not, you, but some hypothetical Alex from next door to the jukebox style Garbaggio fuck, whom I'm now itching to destroy in vengeance of your honor even though he's technically made up. Any person who exercises this selfishness has bought into the set of false promises made to them by male violence-dominated societies, aka that victims of sexual assault are responsible at least in part for the harm done to them, so the aggressors don't have to feel like it's their fault. This is untrue putrescence. I know you, real you this time, wouldn't be the kind of solipsistic cretin who thinks that way, but if you find yourself in a situation where someone is reciting a passage that sounds plagiarized from one of the above excerpts from the Remembrance of Bone Zone's past, please understand that your decisions are sound and worth respecting, even though said scum is trying to make you feel guilty about the fact that they've decided it's okay for you to feel unhappy, uncomfortable, or unsafe, as long as they're feeling sexual pleasure. The idea of even the potential of that happening to you makes me want to mail a congressperson a stink bomb and yell obscene, hideous things at a beautiful phenomenon of nature. Ideally a canyon, but definitely a majestic centuries-old sycamore, at least, in addition to my previous crimes against fictional Alex-type prednesses. You are entirely within your rights to let anyone trying to pull that know that they are acting execrably and extricate yourself from the scene immediately. In some terrible, wrenching situations, this self-removal is not an option for the person on whom sex is being pushed, as I also know firsthand. I have no quips about my experience this time. It was just awful, and that's it. As we know, despite coming up in a social environment that doggedly tries to convince us of the opposite in order to keep traumatic physical harm a norm, rape and sexual assault are never caused by their victim's behavior. They are the results of another person's callousness, and there is nothing you can do in this life to deserve or invite rape or sexual assault. The people on whom these acts are inflicted are sometimes led to believe that if they had somehow conducted themselves more responsibly and/or advocated for themselves more insistently, everything would have been A-okay. This is the highest caliber of cold bullshit, even if you were drunk or on drugs. Another forever true side note. You are entirely within your rights to stop fooling around with somebody if you're no longer into it, regardless of how considerate the other person is being. You don't need a reason or an excuse to not want to get with somebody, and you don't owe anyone a goddamn thing in that respect, ever. No one has a claim on your body but you. I don't want to scare you off forever. Most people are not angling to trap one another in these kinds of scenarios, but if we're going to have this consent conversation, we have to acknowledge the fact that consent, though essential, is fallible. I think the gigantic looming threat of potentially messing up when it comes to consent, and then being forever after labeled an abuser, assailant, or rapist is part of why some members of a genuinely non-monstrous majority population are afraid to discuss it, and are, as a result, more likely to mess it up. This is a shame, since verbally consensual sex is good, healthy, and the crowd favorite among highly skilled, hot, and respectful hookup candidates. I've had myriad physical experiences with well-meaning, resolutely decent types who just didn't seem to know how to address consent in a proactive and sexy way in the heat of the moment. As I mentioned, I have also been this species of person. I don't think everyone who stumbles when it comes to discussing consent is a rapist or predatory beast. Many of them have never been made to understand that rape and sexual assault are things that they even have to think about committing, since they are convinced that rape is a terrible act with just one meaning that of course would never be demonstrated by them. I exhort these people to get an inch of a clue. Others don't know how to bring up consent without getting skittish, feeling prim, worrying they're killing some kind of moment, boner, or white-on, or otherwise shutting down. This makes me sad, because avoiding consent because it's an uncomfortable topic actually steers people into the exact awkwardness they're trying to avoid. It leads to situations where two amenable foxes who set out to have a great time together end up snarled in a morass of anxiety, which is, at least from the maps I've drawn up in the front covers of Remembrance of Bone Zone's past, as one does with fantasy novels, not usually their intended destination. It sincerely doesn't have to go down like that.